And we're back for another episode. In this episode, we're going to be carrying on the main story for Final Fantasy XIV in Endwalker. And as always, hello from Mithrie. So we are here in Ultima Full at 11:27, and we need to talk to Urianger. The quest is called Unburdened Wings. Despite Mitoya's word, Urianger cannot accept his comrade is gone. Soul without body, a form of being with which we are not wholly unfamiliar. Indeed, for we existed in a similar state when residing in the first. The circumstances are rather more dire than that, it is true, but I choose to believe he is not forever lost to us. Regardless, the sacrifice he hath afforded us a chance to prevail. Let us not squander it, and ascertain the nature of this realm, that we might confront and defeat Mitoyan. Istinian Mithrie, would you accompany me in speaking with these dragons? Mayhap they can enlighten us. I would ask the rest of you to survey these surrounds. If there is a path that may lead us to our quarry, we must find it. Very well, we can reconvene here when everyone is finished. Mitoyan said that these dragons are shadows and shade, from a word whose denizens sought oblivion. As such, they're not like to be amenable to company, let alone conversation, so please be careful. Let's split up and gather what knowledge we may. Alright, let's talk to the first one, because he's right there. The sea floch. Elith. A visitor, not of this star. Could thy slender hands bring plague to our world? Thy breath extinguish life's feeble flame, or how we would adore them. Adore thee, alas. Apparently I'm not that good at reading dragon. With time our flesh shall wither, our souls fade, and so we wait for its inexorable march onto oblivion. If thou art not come to hasten our demise, I bid thee leave us. We crave not companionship, only silence. Alright. So let's go to the next one. This should be right over there. Yep. A calm knock. Beyond that distant veil, paradise lost, so glorious, so beautiful. We were a proud and noble race, strength embodied. We knew only love before they came. Metal monstrosities of black and silver. No bonds of blood did they share, nor conviction did they have to guide them. A crushing defeat, never had we known such shame. Stilled now are the winds, though none could fill these wings, burdened by ignominy. We fly no more, only sink into oblivion. Interesting. Then the last one, so the other side of the eighth right. I might as well get the eighth right while I'm here. I'd say so far this is a lot darker than I expected. I understand that they want to essentially end the Hydaelyn and Zodiac arc with this, but still. Okay, let's talk to Waith. So that would speak to me. Ha, folly. I observed the lesson of stone. I shall not fly, nor speak, nor roar. Only watch and wait and end. But one sight yet stirreth my blood, tempereth me to raise my voice in lamentation. Amnol, the cradle of unsung dragons. No words nor songs are possessed of the weight to describe such tragedy. Go, if that be thy will, I shall remain. Okay, so I need to go there to discover the source of the dragon's woes. So, let's go. Okay, we caught up with Estinian. So they led you here as well, did they? It was described to me as the source of their woes and proof of their end. I think I'm beginning to see why. Are these like the last remaining babies? It's a hatching ground, or was. I've seen similar on a ferris. Big Soma's kind must once have lived and thrived in such a place. Vitra said that his father was driven from their ancestral home by war and strife. This, then, is the fate of those who remained. Let's have a look around. Maybe these eggs have more to tell of what happened here. Okay. So, shattered dragon egg. So, gingerly lifting a large egg from its versus mire, you peer inside and see a formless mass soaking in a pool of embryonic fluid. Yeah, I double-clicked by accident. I'll never know what it said. Murky liquid has pooled inside the eggshell. The noxious water is indicative of contamination. Okay. And next. Inside the shattered egg, you find the remains of an unborn dragon. The body has already begun to decompose. The galentious, half-dried membrane covering the corpse suggests it failed to emerge. Okay. Continue investigating. So this egg appears to have been broken from the inside out. Perhaps the dragon within succeeded in hatching. What's this? I thought all the eggs had been ruined. If the dragonette was indeed hatched, there is no sign of it here, or its sire for that matter. We should look for them. You start with the cliff tops, I'll search the plains. Alright. So, let's go search for this lost dragon. Okay, so we have a fight here. Okay. Let's talk to the bereaved dragon. The boisterous howling hath been quieted. By thy hand, I presume. Everything alright? I thought I heard a dragon, or something resembling one. Ah, I see what happened here. Was that your child? Perhaps. Some eggs with our null are indeed mine. If life within one did quicken, the beast thou hast slain may be of my blood. Yet I do not recognize it, twisted and malformed as it is. Not a dragon in truth, but a reminder of our failure, a testament to our shame. Explain. They descended from the heavens, cold, heartless machines, and with them rode war and death. With fire and fury, rage and rancor, we gave answer. It was a long and bloody battle, but only the beginning. Untold chaos and destruction swept over the star. In the end, the invaders were victorious. And yet, when they looked upon their prize, they deemed it unfit for requisition. We were abandoned to our ruin. The survivors sought to put away their shame, to rebuild, a futile effort. In purest soil, replete with aether, did we once cultivate our nesting grounds. But our lands were barren, and in any eggs nurtured in such desolation were fated or rot. What few survive to hatch emerge as abominations. We shall have no new progeny. But there are dragons among you capable of journeying to other stars. That there are. Many would make the attempt, each bearing a clutch of eggs. The richest stars were home to the harshest rulers, and the arrival of dragons incited contests for supremacy. When the fires faded, the wars lost and won. They too were reduced to ash and waste. 'Tis the curse of those who seek life, to be drawn into conflict, to conquer or to be conquered. A vicious cycle we now choose to break. We tire of conflict, of everything. We wait now in sweet, merciful silence, free from strife and suffering, still as stone. Wait, you claim your kind is doomed, but there is another star. Cool. Randomly, the quest just ends mid-sentence. Alright. The next quest is called A Test of Will. The bereaved dragon has fallen silent, leaving Estinian to sigh with frustration. They want only to brood in silence, to be left alone with their grief until time itself comes to an end. The sole reward for senseless bloodshed, a pain I understand and wish that I did not. What fools we were. But now isn't the time for such thoughts. The others will want to hear what we've learned. Come. Okay, so let's go back to Alpha Node. We can teleport straight back. Alright, so let's talk to Alpha Node, who's right there. So, were you able to establish any meaningful contact with the dragons? I see. They wish to escape what they perceive to be a cycle of conflict. Thank you, Mithrie, Estinian. As for our part, I believe we are more acutely aware of our confines than before. We started by traversing the perimeter of the island to see if there might be a path leading off of it. Sadly, there was nothing to be found. There's no small amount of debris floating about. Could there be enough to serve as a bridge to lead us elsewhere? I considered that, and so I tried throwing a stone onto a potential platform to judge its integrity, but it never reached its mark. As it crossed an invisible threshold just beyond the boundaries of this island, it vanished, only to reappear above me and fall at my feet. I will not be too quick to presume that what we see outside this space is as it appears. Which is why I returned to the Ragnarok and asked the Loperis to search for a potential path. However, the ship's instruments failed to provide conclusive data on the surrounding area. Until we know more, I think it's too risky to attempt flying to another island. What Meteon told us before, that emotions dictate reality here, might be the key, but I am not entirely sure what emotions might manifest a bridge to lead us to safety. So, what you're saying is, we've no way forward. At present, aye. If it is indeed emotion that governs this island, perhaps it is not Meteons but the dragons that hold us here. They tire of conflict and have chosen a path of oblivion to escape it. Or rather, they have chosen no path at all, meaning there is no way for the dragons, or anyone here on this island to advance. A sound theory, disheartening though it may be. If that is the case, what recourse do we have? They are not like to be persuaded to help us. Their reasoning is built on a history of turmoil and strife. Without irrefutable proof, the future is not as bleak as they believe it to be. Mayhap persuasion is not the answer. Meteon meant to unmake us then and there on the Ragnarok, and she would have succeeded if not for Thancred's determination. She conceded it was strong enough to overpower the despair that otherwise rules Ultima Full, and reshape it to a degree. Perhaps it can be done again in like manner, by overpowering the prevailing emotions. 'Twas Ultima Full's architect, Meteon herself, against whom Thancred did pit himself in a clash of wills. Though I marked no leader among them, as such, I did chance to encounter a dragon possessed of despair, far more potent than most, potent enough mayhap to dictate the course of the others, and thus their domain to follow. He spoke but few words, carefully chosen, their tone and timbre alone threatening to rend my heart in twain. Challenging his desire to remain may allow us to alter the island upon which we stand. Alas, I fear that my vaunted rhetoric availed me naught against his calcifying heart. But mayhap one of you will fare better. So then I shall guide thee. I'll end, they call him, in the dragon tongue. Thou will find him nearby, eyes fixed upon the water. Well, what have we to lose? Let's get going. Alright, so let's go talk with the dragon and let's see if we can cheer him up. Okay, we caught up with the dragon called I'll End.
He remaineth as he was when I first approached, entombed in melancholy.
I see. Perhaps I could...
I'll handle this. So, waiting to die like all the others, are you?
Our pride is crushed, our souls corrupted, the winds are stilled, and the heavens offer no comfort. There's nothing left of our kind, our long lives a curse as we await the end. Still as stone we shall become.
So you say. Yet your kind has found a new beginning on our star. One of you braved the expanse, bearing with him a clutch of eggs. They and their children now rule our skies, their song heard by all.
Now again on another star. And yet, upon thee I do smell the blood of my brethren. Were they drawn in discord and war on their new home?
They were. They suffered much, and repaid their suffering in kind.
It's mattereth not whither we fly. Ever will the sanguine ocean await us, ever will retribution's wheel turn. And so, on the last pride of my my pride as a dragon, I break free of this wheel. I renounce conflict, exile myself from the other, never again to be touched by the flames of hatred.
Had your brethren made the selfsame choice, my family might still be alive. Yet lasting peace does not come to those who simply retreat from conflict. No, you must be willing to confront it. To stare into the face of your foe, and see yourself in him. Only then can you break the cycle of torment and tragedy. This lesson, a dear friend taught me at the risk of his life. There is no nobility in your penance. You wallow in self-pity. And after everything we've endured, we will not let you stop us.
Interesting.
Estinian!
Stay back!
Guess he knows how to get under a dragon's skin. That's his experience.
Theirs is the emotion that bars our way. The rest is up to you.
No! Not Estinian too!
There's a wind. He's opened the way for us. Sacrificed himself to remake this place, like Thancred did.
Oh, Alphino.
Man, this is really tragic.
Come. Let us follow the wind. It will not lead us astray. He would not.
Alright, so let's catch up with Alpha Node. They're pressing on a bit further into the zone. Okay, so I caught up with Alphinaud and the gang. Look there, the wind. This is Justinian's doing, I'm sure of it. We should ride its flow and see where it leads. Alrighty. Whee! Splat. Wait for the others. I'll forget to deliver you to another island. The other scions should arrive before long. He did it. He found a way forward for us. The dragons remain trapped within a prison of their own making, lamenting the horrors of war, yet Justinian knew them better than most. He was a man of honor and a dear friend, willing to fight to the very end for what he believed was right. And he's still fighting Alphinaud, just like Thancred. The sacrifices are why we can survive here, why we still have a chance to stop her. Even in spirit, they're unwilling to give in to despair, and we mustn't either. Alice is right, we must press on, for their sake. Cool. Alright. So, the next quest is called Roads Paved, I guess, by Sacrifice. Alphinaud has regained his composure and is ready to proceed. As Yatola and Elise said, we must continue. Notice a change in our surroundings. Perhaps this is a memory of an altogether different world. It would be prudent to learn more of it then. Tread carefully, lest we lose our footing in the sand. Like, this is giving me Nia vibes for some reason. Alright. So, let's catch up to them. Okay, so we caught up with them. Let's talk to Urianger. So, were it not for the violet crystal embedded in its surface, it would appear as ordinary stone. A curious script have been etched upon them. Alas, it is not a language with which I am familiar. I cannot say I recognize it either. Nor I. The dragons, from what I recall, preserved their knowledge in song and eschew the written word entirely. So we may assume that this is a work of another race, one we have yet to encounter. Meteion claimed the dragon's world suffered a slow death, seeking the release of oblivion. What life we find here, like as not, doth wend its way towards a similar end. Okay. Oh, what does Alice see? What do you suppose that is over there? I'm not sure. It's hard to make out at this distance, but its surface seems to bear the same crystals as this monument. Meaning there is a chance we may find whoever built them both. We should go and have a look. Come on. Okay, so we have to go a bit further to search for signs of life. Okay, we caught up with the ghostly figure. Hail, travellers. This is a most unexpected occurrence. Oh, hello there. Is this your home? Indeed it is. Ah, forgive me, I had forgotten. An exchange of introductions is expected when first meeting those with whom one is unacquainted. When the vibration of vocal folds was still required to convey our thoughts and intention, EA, I believe, was the proclamation used when referring to our people. Though it is not entirely applicable given our present state, you're welcome to use this appellation. As for the nomenclature to address my individual person, I believe it would be pronounced Koi Koide. Yes, Koi Koide of the EA. We have encountered beings that communicate intermittently through thought, but never one that is wholly without voice. I presume that we are having this conversation via the medium of aether, or dynamis. This space is suffused with vast quantities of it. Fascinating in either case. I gather your response to my presence is positive then. That is well, for there is something I wish to ask of you. Like yourselves, we EA are aether-based lifeforms. Therefore, it may be surmised that your bodies are of comparable biological composition to those we once possessed. I have a number of queries regarding your subjective perception of the five senses: sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell. In total, I have prepared 198,712,180,827. Is that all? That's rather a lot, isn't it? Ah, my apologies. I have omitted a great many details necessary to understand the nature of my request. Though we dispersed with our imperial vessels long ago, we have rediscovered a need for the flesh, and have endeavored to recreate our erstwhile forms. However, a pertinent records have been lost due to the passage of time. Take, for example, the nervous system. It's well within our power to recreate, but we have no frame of reference for sensations once experienced by our people, which may compromise our ability to interact with our physical environment. So let me guess, one of these scions will have to sacrifice themselves to restore it for them. The reason you need to regain corporeal forms? Why, to bring an end to our existence, of course. Though need is perhaps too strong of a word, it would be a simple matter of unmake ourselves through use of etheric exsanguinary, but such a death seems inadequate. The traditionalists among us believe proper death requires an inescapable sense of impermanence in one's final moments, an experience found only with bodies of flesh. We should very much like to hear more of your plans. In exchange, we will answer any questions you have to the best of our ability. Such an exchange of information would indeed prove useful. Very well. To ensure efficacious exchange, I hereby invite you to our home. Yes, the abode of the EA, where the traditionalists prepare for our demise. I presume your consent to answer questions is indicative of a tacit approval of our plans, in which case your cooperation is greatly appreciated. I must caution you. However, be mindful of the EA wandering the desert. Their desire for bodies of flesh could be described as overzealous. Now, if you would follow me. This is going rather smoothly. Not that I'm complaining, mind. Even so, we mustn't forget their aim is oblivion, much like the dragons. Though I fail to see why a civilization so seemingly advanced would choose to unmake all they have created. At any rate, we will find no answers dallying here. Let us be on our way. Alright. So... okay, so we have to catch up with them. Okay, so we caught up with them. So welcome to our abode. Most of our compeers you will find remain idle in their domiciles, though your quizzical expressions indicate my phrasing is unclear. I speak, of course, of the violet crystalline structures hanging from the stone structures there. You say that they remain idle, but what of your work to regain corporeal bodies? An astute question, and understandable given your finite nature. We have no desire to pursue our research, for it is no longer necessary. If in our idleness we are struck by sudden inspiration, we rise to persuade said inspiration to its conclusion. That is why I was present for your arrival, and why I continue to engage with you still. But while the others are not currently in the mortal state, rest assured that they would not object were you to disturb their respite. You need only cast your thoughts towards one of their crystalline domiciles to communicate. Alright, so I guess we have to examine all of these, so let's go. So it's a civilization that's just given up hope. You cast your thoughts towards a crystalline domicile, but there is no response. Okay, next one. You wish to speak? Very well, pray a moment if you would. Okay. Next, let's go to the next one. Why we seek our end, you ask? If you wish to know, I will tell you. Just a moment. I must remember. What form did I take when I last emerged? And the last one... ugh ugh. The strange moaning comes and goes, and soon fades into silence. Interesting. Alright, so... let's go back. Talk to him, he's not that far away. There he is, right there. So did your inquiries yield satisfactory responses? No. I see. If they failed to answer, then it is likely because their minds have been unraveled due to prolonged idleness. They are naught but concentrated aether now. Worry not, there are no others who would need of those lodgings, and they will not prove a hindrance to remain as they are. But more importantly, you said that some few did answer your request for an audience, yes? I imagine they will be with us ere long. Cool. Next, the next quest is called Fresh Abandon. Shall we assume Fresh Abandonment? So, Koth languidly awaits his brethren's arrival. So I had no luck, but everyone else fared well enough. Quite a few EA have awakened. There they are. May I introduce you Lala, Dweedeek, and Ninid. It's been too long, Cope. I dare say Sard 4 was since completed an orbit. Indeed, until the Travelers brought it to my attention, I hadn't noticed how unraveled some had become. Travelers? Ah, of course, of course. The ones who wish to know why we seek to regain corporeal forms. The truth of the matter is plain to see as the neighbouring systems, but my single account would fail to satisfy the requirement of scientific objectivity. Thus did I bid them awaken you. Am I the only one who struggles to tell who is speaking? Nay, though what not, in the absence of corporeal forms and the divergence they afford, mayhap such similarity in voice is unavoidable? By the way, Ko, have you already observed the requisite custom for the Travelers? That which one is expected to do when receiving guests, a matter of proper form? Yes. So long as it had completely escaped my mind, and still does. What was it again? I can't seem to remember. Neither do I. Pity, I was hoping you would. Perhaps we can search the archives for the answer? Come now, Needy. The archives have long been frozen. Lest we subject ourselves to further Doral, surely you recall that much. Ah, of course. Food. The custom is to serve food. Beings of flesh, such as they, must regularly replenish their aether. By contributing to the replenishment, we communicate our friendly intention. That's right, that's right. We duly invite you to join us in communal repast, after which we may engage in leisurely conversation. If we have a chance to learn something, then I see no reason to decline. Excellent. If you would care to follow, I shall feast you on the purest aether. Yeah. Unless it's flesh abandoned, maybe. Let me try that. Flesh abandoned. Alright, so we need to catch up with them. Apparently they're right behind us, so let's go. So this facility is where we replenish our aether. There is no particular name for it, but we traditionalists sometimes use the word restaurant. Now then, if you would take your place with your comrades, the pace will soon be awash with your purest aether. Please absorb as much as you like. Interesting, interesting. Let's wait here. So you brace yourself for a rush of sweet aether, but nothing seems to happen. Perhaps you need to wait a little longer? So you brace yourself again, but again, nothing seems to happen. Just as I suspected, as meticulously as one might recreate the EA's home, well, this is Ultima Full. One cannot simply generate aether here. As recreations, our friends are oblivious to this fact. to the very truth of their existence, much like the phantoms of the recreated Amarok. However appearances may seem, we must ever be mindful that it is the memories of the dead with whom we deal. So, did you have your fill of Aether? Alas, we couldn't absorb it. A deficiency in our forms, it would seem. Oh, how very unfortunate. May I ask how you normally replenish your Aether? Through your mouths, you say? How very primitive and quaint. To think that their mouths serve not only to expel sound, but to draw in sustenance besides. Such life forms have long since vanished from our systems. Though we regrettably could not partake of your magnificent feast, rest assured that we feel your welcome most keenly. In the course of acquainting ourselves with your sophisticated ways, however, we could not fail but wonder, wherefore do you wish to obtain vessels of flesh and fence to vanish? Will you not favour us with an explanation? You flesh and blood beings are always so hasty. It does have its charm, however. Very well, we shall indulge you. In the beginning, when the EA yet possessed corporeal bodies, our ancestors dedicated themselves to the pursuit of knowledge and theological advancement. By transcending all the limitations, we believe that we would eliminate sorrow and abide in true happiness. From the tangible, such as land, to the intangible, such as labor, there exist myriad hindrances to progress, but the most confining of all was the flesh itself. Our natural lifespan was distressingly middling, you see. Too short to enjoy unhurried lives, yet too long to be considered disposable. Therefore more, to simply maintain the integrity of our bodies demanded considerable resources. But we managed to solve this problem. After long years, we discovered how to become non-corporeal entities with everlasting lives, untroubled by the failures of the flesh. Thus changed, we had more time and freedom to continue our scientific pursuits. We went on to make our greater strides in our quest to transcend all limitations until we finally decided to challenge the last of them all, the limit of knowledge. That is to say, deciphering the laws of creation. So, we sought to discover how the universe came into being and explain all the exan phenomena, and thence predict the future. If we could but achieve this, we believe that we would be free from uncertainty and anxiety. And did you find the answers you sought? Yes, we did. Our efforts revealed to us a fundamental truth. Knowledge of said truth is essential for the continuation of our conversation. If you would learn more, we shall share it with you. No, we mustn't. Primitive as they are, it would be unspeakably cruel to deprive them of their ignorance. They are possessed of corporeal forms, their lives readily ended. As thus who would have gone before, it is not our duty to warn them. What thinkest thou? We have deliberated and come to a consensus. If you're resolved to know it, we will disclose to you the truth we discovered, the truth of the universe. Seek us at the stone pillars just outside the bonds of the abode, a place called Ilagia. Okay, let's speak to Y'shtola. So, a fundamental truth. We will hear it, of course. Let us learn what has led such an enlightened people to this indolent end. Okay, let's complete. So, anyway, guys, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and as always, goodbye from me, and goodbye from Mithrie. Bye, guys.